Oh yeah, it's been great. Just getting to know the guys, hanging out with them a lot, and it's a lot of fun being out there on the court with them.
Have you done anything like this before? And if not, what was this whole day, this experience like for you?
I haven't done anything like this, but it was great. My brother attended. Obviously, being from Council Bluffs is pretty close, but yeah, it was a great experience. Just getting to hang out with the kids all day.
What was it like having your brother here?
It was cool. He shot some baskets. Dribbled around a little bit. He was having fun.
With a brother who has special needs, why do you think events like this are so important for the community?
Yeah, because they don't get the same opportunities as everyone all the time. So just for them to come out here and have fun with people, it's a good time.
How important is it for you as one of the newer players to be involved in like an event like this and kind of get acclimated early to this community again?
Oh yeah, it's important. Just I'm from here, so I know Omaha's a great city, and there's great fan support for Creighton. But just to engage with, a lot of these people are fans of Creighton, so just to engage with them is cool.
So what's it been like coming back home and reconnecting maybe with some old faces from high school in those years?
Yeah, it's fun. I grew up playing against Jason and Isaac a lot, so it's fun just being on their team now. They're great players, and playing with everyone it's going to be fun.
What's been your early impression of the group so far?
It's a lot of fun. Everyone's pretty outgoing. A lot of jokes being made and stuff, but when it's time, we're pretty serious, and everyone's good. I feel like we have a really good roster and a lot of guys that will be able to play.
How many times have you gone home for dinner so far since you've gotten back here?
I got home like 3 weeks ago, so I went home about probably 90% of the time for home cooked meals. But since workout started, I've been staying over here more. They feed us and stuff. But yeah, it's been good just being able to go over there and hang out with family and get those meals.
I know it's still 5 months away, but are you ready to really get to work with this group and get things going?
Oh yeah, for sure. This first week has been exciting. Just everyone has done really good in practice and stuff, and it's a super unselfish group. And just playing with them, I'm super excited to get to work.
What do you think is the biggest thing that you're just bringing to Creighton and what you can do?
Yeah, just being a senior. Playing 3 years of college basketball, just leadership, but also experience. I feel like we got a lot of young guys and stuff, so just bringing experience and kind of helping them as well.
What's been the biggest draw for you so far, just with the talent on this team and obviously this Creighton community?
Yeah, just the talent on this team. Obviously, anyone can play well at any point, and I feel like that's going to be hard for teams to really guard. I feel like anyone could play good any game, and I feel like that's a hard thing to scheme for. And just the community, the fan support. They kind of preached that to me on my visit, and I grew up going to Creighton games, so I kind of know what that's like.
How do you feel like your game fits into the system here?
Yeah, just super unselfish basketball. I like to play unselfish. Always make the one more. I think that all the guys are good, and we got a lot of versatility in this team, so it'll be fun.
When you say you have anyone can go off at any given point, how confident does that make you guys just in the preseason?
Oh yeah, it makes us super confident. Some games it will be Jason, some games it will be Owen, some games it will be Ty. It's just all over the place. Anybody can score. So lineups will change with the versatility that we have. We have multiple guys that can play multiple positions.
Coming over with Owen too, how cool is that just to have a former teammate come to Creighton?
Yeah, it's super cool. He's a super talented player, but he's also really cool off the court. I like hanging out with him, and we already have some chemistry, so it's good.
Josh, how do you think you would describe it? You mentioned it's pretty competitive, that it's top to bottom. So how would you describe the competition so far?
Yeah, it's great. I think that's the good part about being so deep as a team. We can push each other in practice every day. There's no reps that are taken off. Everyone's pushing each other to make each other better.
One more.
Yeah, thank you.